Have you ever wondered about the real story of Medusa? We all know the famous image, a terrifying monster with snakes for hair, whose gaze turns men to stone. But what if I told you that wasn't the whole story? What if the original Medusa was something entirely different? A figure of profound power and divinity, long before she became the monster of Greek legend. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of myth and time to uncover the forgotten origins of Medusa. This is a journey that will take us from the well-known tales of heroes and gods to the ancient, pre-Hellenic world, where Medusa was not a monster to be slain, but a goddess to be revered. Let's start with the version most of us are familiar with, the one cemented in our minds by the Roman poet Ovid in his masterpiece, Metamorphoses in the Stelling. Medusa was once a mortal woman of breathtaking beauty. She served as a priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Her devotion was absolute, and her beauty was so renowned that it caught the attention of Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea. Poseidon, overcome by desire, violated Medusa within the sacred walls of Athena's temple. When Athena discovered this desecration, her rage was not directed at Poseidon, her powerful uncle. Instead, she punished the victim, Medusa. Athena transformed Medusa's beautiful hair into a writhing mass of venomous snakes and cursed her so that any living creature who looked into her eyes would turn to stone. This is the tragic story of a woman wronged by the gods, transformed into a monster, and ultimately slain by the hero Perseus. It's a powerful and tragic narrative, and it's the one that has dominated Western art and literature for centuries. But this story was written relatively late in the timeline of Greek mythology. Ovid wrote Metamorphoses around 08 AD, thousands of years after the first whispers of Medusa's name were heard in the ancient world. To find the true origin, we have to dig much deeper, back to a time before the Olympian gods, like Zeus, Athena, and Poseidon reigned supreme. We need to look at the pre-Greek or Pelasgian cultures that inhabited the lands around the Aegean Sea. In these older traditions, Medusa was not immortal. She was a primordial goddess, one of the three Gorgon sisters, along with Sino and Yuri. The name Gorgon itself comes from the Greek word gorgos, which means dreadful or terrible. But in ancient contexts, terrible didn't just mean scary. It often meant awesome, awe-inspiring, and powerful, a divine force of nature. These Gorgon sisters were not just monsters, they were protectors. They were deities associated with the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Medusa's name is particularly significant. It's derived from a Greek verb that means to guard or to protect. In some interpretations, her name means sovereign female wisdom, or simply the ruler. This paints a very different picture, doesn't it? Not a victim, but a powerful, ruling queen or goddess in her own right. So, where did this powerful goddess come from? Archaeological evidence suggests her origins might lie even further back, in North Africa, specifically with the Libyan Amazons and their serpent goddess. Ancient historians like Herodotus wrote about these fierce warrior women who worshipped a goddess represented with snakes. This African goddess was a symbol of divine female authority, wisdom, and protection. It's believed that, as cultures mingled through trade and migration, this powerful serpent goddess figure was absorbed into early Greek belief systems and became the prototype for Medusa. The snakes, which later became a sign of her monstrousness, were originally symbols of regeneration, healing, and wisdom, just as a snake sheds its skin to be reborn. Think of the rod of Asclepius, the symbol of medicine today, which features a snake entwined around a staff. Snakes were powerful, not purely evil. In these early belief systems, Medusa and her Gorgon sisters were guardians of sacred mysteries and thresholds. They were chthonic deities, meaning they were connected to the underworld and the earth's primal energies. Their terrible faces were apotropaic, a fancy word meaning they were designed to ward off evil. You wouldn't put a picture of something evil on your door to protect you. You'd put a picture of a powerful guardian. And that's what the Gorgon's face, the Gorgonian, was. Ancient Greeks placed images of the Gorgon's head on temple doors, on shields, and on city gates. To frighten away malicious spirits and enemies, it was a symbol of ultimate protection, harnessing a divine and fearsome power for good. Far from being a curse, Medusa's face was a shield. So how did this powerful, protective, sovereign goddess become the monster we know today. This transformation is a fascinating story of cultural and political change. Around the 12th century BC, a major shift happened in Greece. The older, earth-based, matriarchal-lining cultures began to be replaced, sky god worshipping Hellenic tribes that would eventually build classical Greece. These newcomers brought with them their own pantheon of gods, led by the powerful male sky god, Zeus. As this new system took hold, the old gods didn't just disappear. They were demoted, reimagined, and often demonized. Powerful female deities from the old world were transformed into monsters, consorts, or minor goddesses, stripped of their original authority. The sovereign goddess Medusa was a perfect target. Her power was too great, too primal, and too female for the new patriarchal order. So, her story was her independent sovereignty was replaced with a tragic tale of a beautiful mortal victimized by a male god and punished by a female goddess who upheld the new patriarchal structure. Her protective, wise snakes became a hideous curse. Her powerful gaze, once a symbol of divine authority, became a weapon of destruction. She was made monstrous so that a new kind of hero, a male hero like Perseus, could rise by defeating her. The slaying of Medusa by Perseus is not just a monster hunt. It's a powerful political allegory. It symbolizes the conquest of the old matriarchal order by the new patriarchal one. Perseus, the son of Zeus, representing the new Hellenic world, triumphs over the ancient, female, phonic power of Medusa. Even after her defeat, in the myth, Medusa's power endures. When Perseus decapitates her, two beings spring from her neck: Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden warrior. This is a powerful symbol of creation from destruction, showing that her life-giving essence could not be completely extinguished. Furthermore, Perseus uses Medusa's severed head as a weapon, turning his enemies to stone. He eventually gives the head to Athena, who places it on her shield, the Aegis. Think about that for a moment. The head of the monster becomes the ultimate tool of protection for the very goddess who created her. This shows that even in the new mythology, the original protective power of the Gorgon was too potent to ignore. It had to be co-opted and controlled by the new Olympian order. The power wasn't destroyed. It was simply transferred from a sovereign female deity to the shield of a patriarchal goddess. In the centuries that followed, the image of Medusa continued to evolve. In the archaic period, she was depicted with a wide, terrifying grin, a protruding tongue, and bore tusks, a truly fearsome guardian. But as we move into the classical and Hellenistic periods, her image softens. She starts to be depicted as beautiful, yet tragic, reflecting the influence of Ovid's narrative. This is the Medusa that has captured the imagination of artists for millennia, from Caravaggio's dramatic painting to modern cinema. But in recent times, there's been another shift. Scholars, artists, and thinkers are looking back, past David, past the classical heroes, to rediscover the original Medusa. Feminists, in particular, have reclaimed Medusa as a symbol of female rage against injustice, and a powerful emblem of survival and strength. Her stony gaze is being reinterpreted not as a curse, but as a woman's power to push back against a world that tries to diminish her. The story of Medusa is a powerful lesson in how myths are not static. They are living stories that are shaped and reshaped by the cultures that tell them. They reflect the society's values, its fears, and its power structures. The journey of Medusa from a revered goddess of wisdom and protection to a tragic monster, and now to a symbol of resilience, is a testament to her enduring power. She is so much more than just a monster with snake hair. She is a ruler, a guardian, a victim, a survivor, and a potent symbol whose story continues to evolve with us. The next time you see an image of Medusa, I hope you'll remember the forgotten goddess behind the monster, the sovereign queen, whose name means to protect, and whose story is one of the most complex and fascinating in all of mythology. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into history and myth. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. See you next time.